everyone, it's Jamie and I'm going to be filming a book haul today. Now this is not going to be a comprehensive book haul, this is more just going to be some very exciting things I got in the first third of the year. So that's January, February, March, April, I was about to say April. Yeah, let's just get into it. A number of these are from my birthday, which was at the end of April. That was very exciting. But I've just accumulated over the course of the year, so let's just go through it. So I'm sorting this into 3 different categories. So I'm first going to have the books I got from Savers, which is actually only 2 I'm going to show you, because most things I get aren't that exciting. Then I'm going to show you just a random assortment of other books that I've gotten over the course of the year, just bought for myself randomly. And then I've got a little sack here of stuff I got for my birthday. So first from Savers, I actually have 3, I misspoke. The first one I have is Not If I See You First by Eric Lindstrom. This is a book about, I think a girl who's blind, and she's also a runner, I think. And it's about that, and she also has a romance, I think. I don't know, but for one thing, I really like the cover. Jesus Christ, there you go. I really like the cover, and I just heard really good things about it, and it was $3, so I decided to pick it up. I'm so sorry for the light, by the way. I have to work with. Next, I got the book Feed by Mira Grant. Everyone says Myra Grant, but that never sounds right to me, so I should probably look up her saying it. But this book, the most I know about it is it's zombies. I have some backstory for this book. So I love this author. I read Into the Drowning Deep, which she wrote under this name, because I think Mira Grant is for her more sci-fi stuff, whereas Shauna Maguire is for her more fantasy stuff, from what I can tell. And I've read the entire Wayward Children series that's out right now, all 4 books. And I love all of them. All of them have been 4 or 5-star books. So I really like this author, which is what was the final thing that really made me go, yes, I need to get it. Second, I love zombies. I will consume zombie media in any form, whether it's the really intellectual, going into like the symbolism of zombies, like in the flesh, or whether it's like fucking Planet Terror. Like, and everything in between. Like, I love Shaun of the Dead, I love Train to Busan, I just love zombies. Still won't watch The Walking Dead, but that's a whole other thing. So there's 2 things for this book. The thing that made me really want this book, though. One of my all-time favourite fanfictions. It's an Inception one, it's wonderful. It's based on this trilogy. And from that fanfiction, I think this is about, like, journalists after the zombie apocalypse. Like, the thing on the back is, no, it's on the front. The good news, we survived. The bad news, so did they. From what I can tell, I think they like cure cancer or something. But then zombies come out because of it. And it's like, yeah, it's now it was 2014, and then 20 years later is when it's set. So it's like, people kind of gotten used to it, and I think they're a journalist. Again, I only know that from the fanfiction. And I'm not really focused on the plot in that fanfic. So, also, the cover is very cool. And finally, I have Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. I don't know what this plot is at all, but I know this one and the other one is Tipping the Velvet by Sarah Waters. She writes sapphic historical fiction, which intrigues me. I think this is the one that The Handmaiden is based on. It's like, she's like a petty thief, and she's like falls in love with her mistress or something. I think this is the one that The Handmaiden is based on. I could be wrong though. It's either this or Tipping the Velvet. But yeah, I'm very excited for this. Like, is that historical lesbian fiction? Like, sign me the fuck up. That's it for Savers. Let's get into the other books I acquired. So, these 2, I got a gift voucher for Christmas. And I spent it a few months ago on 2 books. It was a $30 gift voucher. First book I bought was The Quiet at the End of the World by Lauren James. I only want to read Lauren James books. This one and The Loneliest Girl in the Universe are the 2 that like really stood out to me. This is her most recent one. It came out last year. Because from what I can tell, she writes very like quiet sci-fi. This one is very Children of Men to me, where we've just stopped being able to procreate, and this is about the 2 youngest people in the world who live in like this small like English village, and then shit happens, and it's like, what are they willing to do to save the human race? And I've just heard really good things about her writing, and I saw this and it was cheap, and the cover, again, so pretty. But the thing that I went in to get that day and decided to just get something else as well is The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This chunky boy. This has been getting a lot of hype. I know nothing, except there's a queendom, and there's lots of women, and there's sapphics, and there's dragons. And it's like a good, dense high fantasy. I don't read those very often. But I really want to read this soon, because right now, After, by Anna Todd, it is on Goodreads the longest book I've read this year. And I need to change that. So that's like my big motivation to read this. But, oh, look at how big that is. And it's dense high fantasy. I will read it soon. Goldfinch is glaring at me from back there, because I reckon I said that about that too, and I got that book the same time I got The Upside of Unrequited, which I bought the day it dropped. So, the next book I got was one that I actually pre-ordered, and that is Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman. I'd already read this from webcomic format the day I got it. I read the entire thing again. It is so cute, it is so delightful. This is a prequel to her first book, Solitaire. In Solitaire, the protagonist is Tori, and she has a younger brother called Charlie, and this is set like a couple years before Solitaire, and it's about Charlie falling in love with his boyfriend Nick. This volume especially is basically just about their friendship, them falling in love, blah blah blah. It's beautiful. The art is so cute. I think it's so cute. I'm so excited for volume 2. I just need to pre-order it. This is so, you need to read this, it's so precious. Next is another book that I pre-ordered, I just realized, and that's Firestarter by Tara Sim. I've already read this as well. I read it on the bus, I loved it. I highlighted the shit out of it. Hang on. There's one section where I literally just like highlighted for 3 pages straight. It was a menace. I literally just like couldn't fucking stop highlighting. And keep in mind, pink is for romance. This book murdered me. So I can't tell you what this book is about. It's the last trilogy. But the first book, Timekeeper, is set in alternate steampunk Victorian England in which clock towers rule time. So if a clock tower breaks, then time in that area stops. It just completely stops. And this trilogy is about Danny Hart, who is a prodigal mechanic who was recently in a very bad accident. So he has been sent to this kind of small town to just fix their clock, and meets a clock spirit there, something which has always kind of been in their folklore, but no one actually knows exists. And Danny's kind of fucked, because he ends up falling in love with this clock spirit, which is a big no-no. And this trilogy is amazing. It's so diverse. The main couple is a male-male romance. The second and third book have very big emphasis on India and how Britain was fucking over India at the time. Tara Sim is biracial, she's half Indian, as is one of her main characters, Daphne. And that's awesome to be explored. In this third book, you meet some really cool sapphic characters, you meet a trans character. I love this entire trilogy. So beautiful. The only thing I hate about it is that it changed the covers for the second book. So I don't even own the second book, but I own the first and the third. And the editions don't match, and it ruins me every single time I see it. But I love this trilogy so much. It's so good. This was such a good concluding book. I would highly recommend you pick it up if it interests you. Alright, so on the next one. You know what this book is. It's On the Come Up by A.G. Thomas. This is her second novel, and I like it more than Hate You Give. Don't fight me. This is about a 16-year-old called Bree, who also lives in Garden Heights. And she wants to be a rapper. Her dad was kind of an up-and-coming rapper, like he was very well known among Garden Heights and could go places, but then ended up getting killed. And Bree's always wanted to follow in his footsteps, but now is more important than ever because her mum, who for many years after her dad died was a drug addict, she has just lost her job, and obviously being a former drug addict, knowing that, but a black woman who's a former drug addict, it is incredibly hard for her mum to find work. So I just feel like they were rolling in cash before that. So Bree more than ever feels like she has to become a rapper just to support her family. And this also, being an A. Thomas book, also has a lot of focus on racism. There's particularly the fact that Bree, she doesn't go to a school like as fancy as Star School, but she doesn't go to the Gun Heights School as year. It's kind of like a mid-level school. and she is one of the few black kids there, and so the black and Latinx kids get heavily targeted by their school security, and there's really good stuff in this, particularly with a part in which Bree is physically apprehended by them for mouthing off, which is not a good enough reason. This book also has some really good commentary on being a young female rapper and being a young black woman specifically, and I love this book. It's so good. You will know this. You will have to read it. Next book was kind of a random one that I wasn't expecting to, but near my uni there's a $5 bookstore, and I was bored one morning because I'd gotten to school really early, and like my friend's class wasn't ending for another hour, and I'd already loitered in Dimmicks long enough. So I just went in there and started browsing. There was nothing really catching my eye. Like the few things I saw, I kind of liked weren't even $5. And then I saw this, and I was like, holy crap, I need that. And that is The House of Impossible Beauties by Joseph Cassara. This came out last year, I'm pretty sure. And this, from what I can tell, it's basically about the House of Extravaganza. If you see the documentary Paris is Burning, that's what that is. It's basically in the, I think it's, yeah, in the 80s in New York. It was basically the queer scene that was happening, that was also heavily populated by black and Latinx people. And from what I can tell, this is just queer Latinx people living their best lives while it's the 80s, so it's sort of a fun time. I've just heard really good things about this. I actually really like the Australian cover. This is really terrible, but I really like it. Actually it was $5 because this bitch is damaged. Don't know if you can see that, but the pages are all bent. But yeah, I'm very excited to read this. I've heard very good things about it. Next is what I'm so excited to read. It's May. It's May. It's Asian-a-thon. I'm doing it this month. The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. I'm so excited for this. This is the newest Shadowhunter novel. It's the first of 2 coming out this year. And this is the start of a new trilogy. It is the, what's the trilogy called? The Eldest Curses trilogy, which is specifically about Magnus. And this one is set in between City of Glass and City of Fallen Angels, which is the 3rd and 4th book in the Modern Instrument series. Which, if you've read that, you know that means Alec and Magnus are on vacay. And from what I can tell, it's basically they're on vacation and they're having a great time. And then Magnus has to sort out some shit because he accidentally created a cult a while back. And now they're stirring up some shit. Like, he made it as like a joke, I think. Yeah. A cult that was apparently founded by Magnus himself years ago as a joke. I'm so excited for this because not only is it Magnus and Alec, and I just love them, and this has like really good. This is like basically the real start of their relationship, which I'm really excited to read. But this also has Helen and Aline, my babes, meeting, and they're like married now. And it has them meeting together, and not only that, but it also has Raphael, who is asexual aromantic, and from what I've seen, that is discussed in here. And it's got Lily, who is pansexual, and majority of the characters are also people of colour, and all of them are queer, and it's just, I'm so excited to read this month for Asian-a-thon. After I finish The Guild of Wolves, this will be my next read. So excited. I can't even, I'm gonna love this. It's gonna be the best book I read all year. Calling it now. Next, Book Depository was having a sale, I'm pretty sure, and I saw this and I'm like, I like this book, and that's When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandy Menon. I've already read this book. I read it in audiobook from my library and I really liked it. Like, I think I gave it 4 stars. This is about Dimple Shah, who is an Indian teenage girl, and she really wants to go into STEM. It's like her dream. She wants to get into Stanford, I think it is. Doesn't say. I think she wants to get into Stanford. And her parents are very traditional, but they say, okay, you can go to this app making camp, like this tech camp. Not telling her that the boy they have just basically decided she's going to marry is also going to be there. And there's a little bit of conflict between them at first, because for one thing, he does not make the best first impression, because he doesn't realize she doesn't know. But also, she's very against the idea of her having a set-up marriage. But then it's just as their romance develops, and it's real cute. And I really love it. I just love, one thing, these covers are stunning. Every single cover of her books is so good. But also, I love the cute romance. I love Dimple especially as a character. I love this book, and I'm so happy that I own my copy. Next is one, I borrowed this book from the library and then like a week later got myself a copy because I loved it so much, and that's Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Oh, I love this book so much. This is a historical novel. It's set in the 70s and it's basically told in an interview format here. Hopefully you can't read any spoilers there, but interview format. And it's presented like one of those like docu-series, and it's basically just chronicling the careers of Daisy Jones and this band, The Six. But for many years, Daisy Jones was a solo singer, and The Six was originally a band started by two brothers, but then they expanded to with 6 members and called themselves The Six. Both who were doing pretty well in their careers, and then there was an idea by the label for them to join and do a song together, and it went nuts. And they basically became top shit. And this is chronicling the rise and fall of both Daisy Jones and The Six. And I love it so much. It was probably my favourite book of last month. If not, it was second favourite, but very close. It's so good. It's not a book where you necessarily care about the characters, but it's a book where you are fascinated by the characters. And I love it. I didn't read an audio. And I strongly disagree with everyone who says you have to read it on audio. Like, I understand why some people would have to, but some people are like, it's not even worth reading in paper, like in physical. And I'm like, it is, because I read it that way and I still gave it 5 stars. So yeah, and also our cover, we got a pretty cover, guys. We got a prettier cover than the Americans. We did it. This is the one we get this year, because that's how the rules work. The last one I get isn't one that I got for myself, but my friend gives away books very frequently, and she gave this one to me, and I was like, oh my god, I love it, I'll take it. And that's The Rest of Us Living by Patrick Ness. A book I already own. In fact, right there. No. There. That's where it is. But it is my favourite of Patrick Ness's books. In fact, it's one of my all-time favourite books. And this is the hardcover, and I'm paperback. And this one has pretty shit on it. See? Don't know if you see. There you go. Got that nice shit in it. I love this book. This is basically, it says it all. Not everyone has to be the chosen one. It's just about a group of kids. Like, in their town, there are kids called Satchel who are the chosen ones and are trying to fight vampires, but they're like, just don't blow up the school before graduation, lads. Like, come on, help me out here. And I really love it. This has really good depictions of mental illness. It has a really good friendship group. It's fun all around, and I really love it. Would highly recommend. Now, onto my little birthday haul. This isn't everything of my birthday, but it is most of it. So, first, I got The Princess and the Fangirl by Ashley Poston. My friend got me this. This is the sequel to Geekerella, which I haven't read, but, like, I don't really care. This is about these 2 girls, one of them who is a fan of a, like, movie series, I think, and one who is a lead star. And they look very similar and end up trading places, and they don't like each other, and they fall in love, and it's everything I've ever wanted in a book. Then, next, I got The Poet-X by Elizabeth Acevedo. My aunt got me this. This was one of my favourite books of last year. I love it so much. I'm so happy I have my own copy because I borrowed it from the library the first time. This is all told in slam poetry, as you can see. Elizabeth Acevedo was actually a very prolific slam poet herself, and she narrates the audiobook, which I haven't read yet because my fucking library doesn't have it. But this is all about Xiomara, who is a Dominican teenage girl who was raised very religious, and she basically is looking for an outlet to express herself, and she finds that with slam poetry, and it's beautiful. There's one passage in this book that I don't even think I can read to you because I think it's spoilers, but it's just so fucking good. I'll just say, her poem Burn is one of the best things I've ever read in my entire fucking life. So, read this book. Next is a book I haven't read, but one I'm very excited to read now that I own it, and that's A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Now, I had an opportunity to read this book so many times. I got it out from the library. I saw it in the shop so often. But the thing is, it was always a regular edition. I always wanted the illustrated edition. Because, oh, that's a blank page. Because I had just heard that the illustrated edition was so good and just added so much to the story. And yeah, I can see why. This was turned into a movie a few years ago with like Felicity Jones and Liam Neeson and everything. But basically, it's about a very young boy whose mother is dying of cancer, and this monster comes to him and is like kind of a comfort to him, I guess, and becomes like a companion to him. And it just seems like a really beautiful story, and I love all of Patrick Ness's books that I've read, and I've read pretty much all of them other than the Chaos Walking trilogy. So I am extremely, extremely excited to get into this. And finally, a book that my aunt got me is a graphic novel, and I love it very much, and she got me Love is Love by, I think it's edited together by Mark and Draco, if memory serves. Yeah, Mark and Draco, who I actually really like. If you watch like Screen Junkies or Schmodown or anything, you know him. He put all this together, and this was put together after Pulse, after the Orlando shooting, and all the proceeds to this go to those affected. And it's just beautiful, and it's specific, and it's got so many. I'm just gonna show you some of my favorites. One thing, I love Batwoman. There's my wife, Batwoman. It is a very dark comic in many ways. Like, for example, you've got like that with like the LGBT flag at half-mast. But there's also some really cute lighthearted stuff. Like, there's a really cute lighthearted Harley Ivy story. There's no Marvel characters in this. There's just DC ones. But DC has a lot of characters in this. And sometimes it's really sad. Like, there's this one where, like, here it is, and it shows, like, I will say, massive trigger warnings. This does show the dead bodies of it. I doubt it's based on anyone specific, but it does show the dead bodies of people in this nightclub. So be trigger warnings for that. But there's a really sad part, and it's like that, and it's where it's these cops talking about Batman being inside the club, and it's like, Bat is the greatest detective in the world. If he can't find answers to what's happened, no one can. And I'm trying to show you every single page I love, because there's lots of, I love this so much. Here's just like a really fun one of a bunch of queer characters in a nightclub. You've got what looks like Renee Montoya. You've got that one character who was like a villain and was a massive Latino stereotype who got bitten by an AIDS vampire and was really homophobic, but then I redeemed him. It's got my boys. Where are they? It's got my boys Midnighter and Apollo, which I'll bring up in a second. I'm sorry, I'm getting really into this. I fucking love this comic so much. I read it a couple years ago. Here are my boys Midnighter, Apollo, and again, and it's just like so cute and so sweet and kills me so much. And it's just, don't think I'm gonna show it anymore, but it is just such a touching comic. And just a lot of it is specifically about the shooting, but there's so many other things where it's just about being queer in general, and some of them is like full comic strips, some of them are just pieces of art. And it's so beautiful, it's so heartbreaking. I'm probably going to cut a lot of this because I'm just rambling, but it's absolutely beautiful. And I love it so much. I would highly recommend picking it up, because it's also like for a good cause, which I like. But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, and I love it. So there we have it. That is my haul for the first 4 months of the year. Comment down below, tell me, are there any books that I said I hadn't read that I should prioritize? Because I think there are some I definitely should. Other than the Scott Rose Girls of Magic, trust me, that is already being prioritized. Comment anything down below, so it's not mean. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want more hauls from me. You will see one in probably 4 months. I post videos every Sunday, usually about bookish topics, and I hope to see you there. Bye!